I always thought working at a hotline was just an easy way to make some money. Answering calls, listening to people complain, filling out forms. Monotonous, boring, harmless. But one night, I got a call I'll never forget, because that night, someone called me from a number that doesn't exist. I worked the night shift at a 24-hour psychological helpline. It was quiet, just me, the hum of computers, and a flickering ceiling light. The clock read 2:46 a.m. One green light blinked on my monitor. The line was free. I reached for my coffee mug when suddenly a notification appeared. Incoming call. Source: unknown. Channel 17. I frowned. We only had 16 channels. I even counted them again, but there it was. Channel 17, glowing red. I clicked answer. Helpline. Operator Alex speaking. How can I help you? Silence. I heard faint breathing, slow, shallow, almost next to my ear. Then a quiet female voice whispered, "You're not supposed to be here, Alex." I froze. Who is this? You already talked to me. Yesterday. But yesterday, I wasn't even on duty, and the system was down for maintenance. How do you know my name? No answer, just soft tapping, like fingernails against plastic. Then the voice said, "He's behind you. Don't look at the monitor." Of course, I looked. The screen flickered, then turned completely white. A video feed appeared, as if from a security camera. It showed my desk, my office, me. But in the corner behind me stood a tall, dark figure, featureless, motionless. I turned around. Nothing. When I looked back, the figure on the screen was closer. I yanked off the headset, heart pounding. The call was still active. Channel 17, glowing red. I tried to start a screen recording, proof that I wasn't losing my mind. The computer froze. Then the headset came alive again, the faint breath in my ear. "Why are you doing this? Who are you?" "You called me first, remember?" Back in November, I shook my head. I never called anyone. Then she said my address, my exact home address, and whispered, "You opened the door at 3:17. You said, 'Come in.'" I looked at the clock. 3 minutes. My stomach turned cold. What was going to happen at 3:17? The monitor blinked again. This time, it showed me from behind, as if someone was holding a camera right over my shoulder. On screen, the dark figure moved closer, reaching toward me. I felt cold air brush the back of my neck. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then the whisper came again. "Look out the window." Outside, an empty street, lit by a few flickering lamps, and right below, in the middle of the road, stood a woman. The same voice, the same presence. She was looking up at me, a phone in her hand, and I realized she was the one calling me from Channel 17. When the morning shift arrived, the office was empty. The computer was still on, the headset still warm. The screen recording had been running all night, but the file was corrupted. What they recovered showed Alex sitting at his desk, answering a call, and then simply vanishing into thin air. Since that night, sometimes the system shows a strange incoming call. Source: unknown. Channel 17. If anyone answers it, the line freezes, and exactly 3 minutes later, the connection cuts off forever. Every year, tens of thousands of people go missing in the United States. Most are found, alive or dead, but some vanish completely. No trace, no record, nothing left behind, as if they never existed. This is the story of a journalist who decided to investigate those disappearances. And he made the biggest mistake of his life. he found a town that doesn't exist. My friend's name was Alex Kennett. He was an independent journalist who loved investigating cold cases, missing people, unsolved murders, strange coincidences. One day, he sent me a letter. I found something that might explain everything. If anything happens to me, don't look for me. Just forget I ever existed. The town's name is Denmore. 2 days later, Alex disappeared. His phone disconnected, his apartment broken into, his computer wiped clean. The police said he probably just left. But I knew Alex. He wouldn't run away, not like that. I started searching. No town named Denmore on any map, but buried deep in the state archives, I found an old 1974 report mentioning Denmore, Pike County, closed after a chemical plant accident. Except there is no Pike County, Denmore. One document had coordinates, so I drove there. The closer I got, the stranger it felt. GPS stopped working. The radio only played static. Not a single car on the road. When I finally saw a rusted sign that read, "Welcome to Denmore," a chill ran down my spine. It felt like I had crossed into a place that wasn't supposed to exist. Denmore looked paused. Houses stood intact but decayed, covered in dust and moss. The streets were empty. It felt like everyone had just walked away. Newspapers in a store window were dated June 5th, 1993. The headline said, "Denmore evacuated." No explanation why. Inside one house, toys still lay on the floor mid-play. The TV was on, only static. And for a split second, I saw someone move behind me in its reflection. That night, I stayed in a rundown motel. The lights flickered. Through the window, I saw shadows moving too quickly to be human. There was an old landline phone. It rang once. I answered and heard a woman's voice. "You shouldn't have come here, Eric." "Who are you?" I asked. "Alex tried to warn you. Leave while you still can." Then, silence. She knew my name, but I never told anyone I was coming. The next morning, I found an old VHS tape in the abandoned police station. It was labeled perimeter footage. I played it. The camera showed a patrol car driving through Denmore at night. The officer's voice shook as he said, "No one here, but the lights are still on. Feels like someone's watching." The headlights caught a man standing in the road. He turned toward the camera, and I realized it was Alex. Only his eyes were completely black. I tried to leave, but the road I came from was gone. The GPS said I was in the middle of an empty field. The streets kept changing direction. Buildings shifted places, as if the town was alive, rearranging itself. I started hearing footsteps behind me. Every time I turned, no one. But in the reflection of a shop window, I saw dozens of silhouettes standing behind me, silent, faceless. I made it to an old school. In the gym were rows of dusty TV screens, all turned on. Each one showed footage of different people disappearing in their homes, parking lots, woods. I realized they all vanished here. Denmore was taking them, erasing not just their bodies, but their existence. I turned on my camera. If anyone finds this, don't come here. The town is alive. It breathes, and it's hungry. Then, footsteps. I turned around. The camera hit the floor. 3 months later, the county police received an unmarked package. Inside, a flash drive. It contained a video. A man stood in a foggy street, holding a camera. He spoke calmly. "I found it. Denmore is real. But now, I'm part of it." The screen flickered. In the reflection behind him, dozens of faces, Alex's and mine. Between 2008 and 2014, an unknown serial killer operated across several Midwestern states. No DNA, no fingerprints, no witnesses. Every case seemed different, yet connected. The police called him the Midwest Phantom. Only one detective got close to finding the truth: John Miller. A month after his disappearance, his diary was found, and next to it, a flash drive from Miller's diary, January 2011. Today, I reopened the Laura Nash case. 28 years old, found dead inside her car near the lake. No signs of struggle, just a white paper mask placed over her face. By then, it was the third victim. All women, all found inside their cars miles from the nearest town, each wearing the same kind of white, hand-cut mask. Miller traced the masks to a local craft store. The clerk remembered a man who had been buying identical packs for months. "He was strange," she said. "Always wore gloves. Paid in cash. When I asked what the masks were for, he told me, 'Each one is for someone who's about to go silent.' When police checked the security footage, it was corrupted. All video from that day was gone. A week later, Miller began receiving late-night calls. Always the same quiet, hoarse voice. 'How many masks have you removed, John?' He tried tracing the calls. They came from different states each time. One night, Miller left his recorder on before going to bed. In the morning, he played it back. The voice had been inside his house. In March 2012, Miller received an envelope with no return address. Inside, a paper mask and a note. "You see faces. I see the emptiness behind them." No fingerprints, but forensic analysis found traces of ink no longer in production. It led him to an abandoned printing factory outside Detroit. Inside, the walls were covered with dozens of masks nailed to the concrete. Below each one, a photograph of a missing woman. Every single face matched a case on his desk. In the factory office, Miller found a dusty security system. One camera still worked. He played the last file. The screen showed a man in a black coat, standing motionless in the dark, holding a white mask. Then Miller himself appeared in frame. He walked up to the man, removed his badge, and stared into the lens. The video ended. He swore he had never been there before. From Miller's final notes, 2013. "He's watching me. Every night I dream that someone's putting a mask on my face. Sometimes I wake up outside, in my car, with no memory of how I got there. Neighbors reported strange noises from his house, footsteps, faint laughter. One claimed to see two shadows in his living room. But Miller lived alone. The flash drive found beside his diary contained one video file, dated March 20th, 2014. The camera sits on a desk. Miller stares straight into the lens. I know who he is now. He's not a man. He's an idea. He lives where people hide their truth, behind masks. I wore one too. For too long, he slowly raises a white mask and puts it on. Silence. Then the camera shakes, falls to the floor. For a second, the reflection shows another figure entering the room, a tall man in black. He whispers, "Now you're one of us." The video cuts out. A month later, Miller's house exploded in what was officially called a gas leak. But firefighters reported finding 20 white masks neatly lined up in the basement. One of them was freshly made. Inside it, a name written in ink, John Miller.